Gun here. I'm coming at you all today with a review on the Spyderco Manix 2 XL. Let's take a look around the box real quick. We have the typical Spyderco box. Got the focus, that's Manix there. We have the model number, I believe, right there. And you can look it up if you want. So let's get to it. Of course, we have the typical Spyderco box. So let's get to it immediately. Inside, of course, we have the blade. This isn't new, of course. I have carried this for several months, but I'm just showing here how it does come. We'll just set that aside. We have the warranty information, product information, and warranty guide. Of course, we have cleaning tips in here and telephone number to contact customer service, etc., etc. All that kind of good stuff. Let's put that aside. Let's get to the knife itself. Let's take a look around it. We have black G10, very grippy black G10, I might add. This is probably the most grippy G10 I've had so far, my Spyderco knives. So let's take a look. We have a satin blade, and the blade steel is I can get to focus so you can all see. There we go. Spyderco CPM S30V. And on the other side, the writing it says Golden, Colorado, USA Earth. And I believe this little marking right here, I believe it's the maker's mark. You can correct me on that if I'm wrong. We have a pocket clip, which is currently right hand tip up. You can only have right hand tip up or left hand tip up. The tip down feature you cannot have on this knife because of the ball bearing lock. The Spyderco, the pocket clip would be in the way of the lock. We'll get back to the lock in a little while. Let's carry on looking around, show you some of the features on here. We have jimping right here. Right here we have thumb ramp for jimping on it. And we also have on the spine here we have jimping. Let's see if I can get a close up of that for you. See if we can get this camera to focus if it's going to. Anyway, so it goes like this and it's very comfortable in the hand. Get back to that one later. On the rest, we have steel liners, of course, and we have a lanyard hole, quite a large lanyard hole for that matter. We have more jimping right here, more jimping right here, and we also have a finger choil where you can put your finger, and there is also jimping there as well, as you can see. See if we can get this to focus. So, and we also have a partially flow-through design, partially skeletonized, as you can see in there. So yes, it is partially skeletonized because you have it here. You have this section right here which is locked off because here we have the ball bearing lock, and the ball bearing lock is, as you can see right there, in this lock we have a spring which you pull back, and if you can see it right there, it locks into a notch to keep it closed. And when it is open, as you can see there, if you can see it, you see it. There's a small notch right there, and the lock moves forward to lock it completely into place. And when it is in place, it is as hard as a rock. It's not going to come down in your hand. Most likely it's never going to come down in your hand. It is as hard as a rock. Blade centering. Let me see if I can get this to focus for you all. There you go, a little more. The blade is 100% straight. And that is actually maybe a little, no, it looks perfect to my eye. So, yeah. And also when it's closed, I don't know if you've seen it before, it also locks into a notch when it's closed. So when you hear this, see it gets to here and then it clicks. It's also the ball bearing lock moving forward to lock it into place. So the ball bearing lock keeps it closed, and when it's open, it also keeps it open. So it's kind of a neat feature. Let's get on with measurements. We have a cutting edge length of 8 centimeters and an entire blade length of 9.5 centimeters. So that is in inches. That should be in inches. I had a converter right here. So in inches, that is a 1.5 inches, and the total blade length would be 3.74. So assuming the converter is correct, it should be that. So total length, what have we got here in centimeters? Because I don't really want to cut myself, so we have 22.5. So that's a total of 8.858 inches. And then we have close length is, total close length should be, let's have a look. I can get the measuring tape to hold on that. So we have a close length of 4.5 centimeters. So 4.5 centimeters in inches would be, so 1.327. So that's what the converter tells me. So let's take a look. So that is 13 centimeters. So that's 5.118 inches. So assuming the converter is correct, so that should be that. Blade centering, I've covered that one. I wanted to cover reliability before I do the sharpness test. I have had pretty good reliability, but I have had one failure from the ball bearing lock. On one occasion, the ball bearing lock had completely failed. Only on one occasion. Because why it failed is because I believe, let's see if I can get that focused for you. Yes, there we go. Because I believe dirt had gotten in between the spring, because the ball bearing lock, you see, normally it moves forward to engage, but it wasn't moving forward. I believe there's like a piece of either in the spring or here that was preventing the lock from moving forward. So it was like this when we hold the lock. It was like this, so it would just come down like that. But if the lock ever does fail on someone, it will not come down on your hand, because let me demonstrate. So let me disengage the lock. You put my finger in place. If it's a finger in place, as if I was using it. Let me demonstrate. You see, it can't come down on top of your finger because you have that protective finger trial right there to protect you. So if it were to come down on top of your hand, it can't come down any further than this because of the finger trial. So your hand is quite well protected there. So apart from that, I haven't had any reliability issues. Let's get on with the sharpness test. Got a piece of paper right here. And out the box, of course, as you would expect of any Spyderco, it comes razor sharp. and it really is razor sharp. This is normal paper. Let me switch to a thinner type of paper real quick. This is really thin advertising paper. So, this got to do behind that camera. As you can see, it really has little to no problems doing that. I have not cut my finger off of that. Yeah, so when it comes to sharpness, it really has no problem. So let's try something more physical. No problem at all. It cuts through without any problems. So, yeah. This knife retails, I picked this one up at $105 at Blade HQ. But yeah, you can pick them up for around that price, just about anywhere. But you can pick these knives up, yeah, for around that price. Maybe you can get a cheaper bargain on eBay, but I don't think so. I don't personally recommend purchasing on eBay if you wanted to purchase a knife like this, because there's a lot of scams going on around there. But if you wanted the black version of this knife, this is the satin version. If you wanted the black finish, it would cost you around $138, I believe. And another thing I wanted to go through is this knife is so smooth. When you open this knife slowly, there is no lag whatsoever. It is so smooth, and if you were to hold the lock down and flick it, it just goes to no problem. It goes the same for closing it as well. So you just have to hold the lock and give it a flick like that, and it closes. And I also wanted to real quick compare this to another knife. Since I do want to stress, this is quite a large blade. This is quite a large EDC, quite wide. So if you've seen my review on the Resilience, was quite a large blade, but of course the Resilience is slightly longer. But the Manix 2 is much wider than the Resilience. It's quite a bit wider. Don't know how well you can see this. So you've got quite a bit more handle material in your hand when you're dealing with this knife, where the Resilience is more thin, not so wide. But with the Resilience you have a longer blade. Of course, you can't really compare these knives otherwise, because you are dealing with a $40 knife or $40 to $50 knife made in China, where you have a $105 knife made in the US. So it's a kind of two different things. For example, the G10 on the Resilience is not at all as grippy as the one on the Manix 2 XL. So yeah, is it worth the money? Totally. I believe it is totally worth the money. If you want to spend quite a bit of money on a good EDC, this is the way to go if you like bigger knives. But apart from that, I think it's just an all-around great blade, and it's worth the money, and it will stand up to most work. Of course, yeah, it'll stand up to most cutting work if you don't abuse it. I want to look at the tip real quick. It's quite a fine, very, very sharp tip. As you can see, that is a very, very fine tip. And it is very, very sharp. Trying to get this thing to focus. Apparently it doesn't want to focus. See if we can get it to focus real quick. Anyway. A little camera issues today, yeah. There we go, that's better. And I wouldn't recommend, going to really pry stuff open with it, because it's like any knife. If you abuse it, you risk breaking it, and that is not covered in the warranty. Abuse is not covered in the warranty, so yeah. Anyway, you all, that's a real quick comparison. And before I go, I'd like to show you a how it looks in the pocket in a normal pair of fleece trousers. I'd like to show you how a quick pocket shot before I go, so here it comes. And one last thing, as you could see there in the pocket shot, the knife has very good how do you say this again? Very good pocket resistance, if you want. It will never just come out of your pocket by itself, at least not in the couple of months that I've had this knife. So that's about it, y'all. That's the review on the Spyderco Manix 2XL. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And that's about it, y'all. So that's it. Please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to, most of all, have a great day.